So let's get straight into it. We're going to start out on Haven and we're going to work our way through each bomb site on each map. First one for C on Haven, plant it how you would for long and make your way back to your spawn. And all you have to do is jump up on this ledge, tuck yourself into the corner, and you're lining up these two lines here indicated by the arrow. Left click press and it'll make its way all the way over. From spawn it does take a little bit of time, but it lands perfectly for where you planted it for long. Easy. Next up, run the B site, and this one's a little bit trickier. Put the bomb down like that. Make your way back over here and jump up on this ledge here on this vase. What you want to do is, it's kind of difficult to see, but you're looking at a black crack there. And what you want to do is line it up like how you see with the arrow here. And you're just lining up the tooltip slightly, the little HUD for the incendiary, for the molly, and pressing. And what that'll do is it'll come over, it'll drop just here, and land for the plant. What? Oh my god. Wait, this is like one of the worst like pixel glitches I think I've ever seen. So this lineup is actually super simple. Look on the right side of your screen if you make sure you have all the weapons shown, tooltip on. Line up the bottom of that line on the right side indicated by the arrow with the top of the little floral pattern on the like diamond there. Up with the top, left click press, it'll fly over. And it lands pretty much dead perfect for it, and it covers quite a large radius as well. Do be careful though, because I did just find a little pixel skipping glitch. I'll insert a clip of it now if I can find it, but you should be okay. So we're over on Fracture now. Let's do the typical default A plant, where you plant it somewhere there, and make your way back out of main. Now when you're out of main, come back over here and slot yourself into this gap in the wall. This lineup is a little bit strange, but what you're looking for is the tip of your incendiary, as you can see from the arrow, and you're lining it up just so that the tip is slightly in line with the line you can see there, and you are just left click pressing. And what will happen is, as you can see, it bounces off the roof of that and lands perfectly to cover that entire plant. Now the next really useful must know one is for the B site on Fracture. Plant it how you would normally for the main plant, or the default, and make your way back out of main towards your spawn. When you're here, slide yourself up onto this grass bit and look into this crack here, and all you're looking for are these sets of leaves here. And you're aiming for the top curved one, as you can see by the arrow. Left click press, and that will just fly over, and it'll either land and bounce there, or it will land just there, and it will just cover the entire area. And don't worry, all this bit is still within the fire, it's all fine. So we're over on Ascent now, so let's go look at the default plant. Take the bomb, put it for the default plant, and make your way out towards the A main. Really easy one, this one. Make your way to this corner here. And what you are lining up with is that you can see on these like walls here, just this little tip of this one, aim your crosshair just slightly above it, left click press, and it bounces off that wall and lands perfectly for the default plant. So let's go look at the B site. Now we're over on the B site, this one's really simple once again. Plant it for like default like you normally would and make your way back out towards the main. Again, like I said, this one's really simple. Make your way over to the corner just out here and line up like follows. Look at the arrow. Make sure that two lines that flick off are both touching the edges of the wooden piece. Left click press and watch it fly over, and it will bounce just before it and should land on top of the box, and it covers the whole site either way. You can guess the default plant perfect. We're on bind now. Let's do the typical default plant for A site that everybody should really know. Plant the bomb like you would in the default spot and make your way out short. Jump on top of this barrel, and what you're lining up for here is, if you look at the arrow, you're looking at the lamp, and the best course of action is to try and get it just a little bit higher than you think you might need it. Place it somewhere there, left click press, and what it'll do is it'll fly over and it'll bounce off these stairs and will slow itself down just on the vehicle here and land to cover the entire plant that you need just there. So B site bind now, plant like you might do for the normal default or the long plant, make your way out long and come all the way down to this corner here. Put yourself into the corner and just line up with the arrows that you see on screen. Basically just the little edge of this incendiary, like the little symbol, the line. You're just lining yourself up with that and tucking it under the cylinder, just where the arrow is, really easy to follow. Left click press and it should bounce and just about land somewhere here and covers the entire default plant. So welcome on over to Lotus C site. Lotus is a really difficult map to do brim lineups for, but I think I found a good one for C site. Plants like you would do for the mound, typical plants. Make your way over to these back boxes over here, and you're tucking yourself just into these boxes. Push yourself into the corner. And you're looking at this like blue box here, as you can see from the arrows, and you're just lining up the bottom left of the box with the tip of the incendiary icon, and you are left click pressing, and what it does is it will bounce just off that curved edge there, make its way onto here. Sometimes it will ride on the ledge, but it just covers the plant for mounts and that is probably the best one you're going to get. Otherwise, you have to do like weird plants over there, or maybe default plant or something. But for the actual like round running one, putting one there is the best. Now the B site one is a little bit easier. Plant it like there, in that corner, just in that little slot. Make your way out towards the main. Push yourself into the corner of this box just here, and this one's a pretty easy lineup. Once again, you're looking at the arrow just for the tip of the incendiary icon. Left click press. It'll come up here, it'll bounce once, just off this little lip on the edge, and just bounce down and get good coverage on the bomb, like that. And finally, on the A site of Lotus, plant either side of this box, it doesn't matter, they're both pretty much the default plant. Make your way back out towards the main, and push yourself into this corner just here, up against this, and you are looking just here at this second leaf, and you are lining up the edge of the stim beacon to the incendiary, like the connection between them, the two lines that you see from the arrow, just the edge of that on the right, with that leaf. Left click press, it'll fly up and it should land just on top of the box there, and that covers both the left and the right. It might not look like it, but they are both in the molly on each side, so don't worry about it. Next up we have Pearl. Welcome to the Pearl A site, do the default plant, and we're going to make our way out of the main. I'm going to tuck ourselves into this corner just here. Push ourselves into it, and all we're looking for, if you look at the arrow, is just the top of this tooltip just here, in line with the line on the bricks. Left click press. It takes a little while to come down because it's just going straight up, and it will just land perfectly to cover the entire default sort of plant range. So over on the updated B site now on Pearl, plant it like you normally would for long. Maybe you're not going to do that much anymore, but this is still like the default sort of one you'd go to. Plant it there anyway. Make your way over to the corner up here at the top of the ramp. Come into the corner all the way, and what you're looking for, if you look at the arrows right now, is just to rest the sort of upside down triangle on the sort of roof latching sort of thing there. Lay it across that side along that line, and it comes in a little bit hot, but it does land perfect, and it still covers all of the bomb perfectly, no problem. Onto the last map in the current rotation. Let's do the plant in this corner, for example. Sometimes people do it when they play Heaven or something. Gonna make your way up towards the ramp and dig yourself into this corner here. You can push forward, it'll put you in. And this one's a bit more of a simple lineup. All you try and do is get in line with the big white beam, as you can see from the arrows, and just try and get it somewhere a little bit more in the middle, a little bit closer to this side. You can see roughly where I'm aiming. Left click press, and what it'll do is come down and just drop perfectly for that corner. If you go a little bit high, it can land on top of that, but if you go a little bit left, a little bit right, it's not really the end of the world. It should still land and cover that pretty well. Just make sure you get it in that line with the blue beam, and just follow the arrows for all of these lineups, and you should be good to go. So the absolute last lineup in this video now is over on the B site on to split. Plant it if you like you would for long. I think this is one of the best plants you can do. Make your way out to the main, out of the garage, all the way back into roughly your spawn, pretty much all the way over here. And this one's a little bit of a tricky lineup, but all you are looking for is essentially to try and line up the connectors once again between the incendiary and the smokes. And you are just aiming it here where the arrow is pointing you, just on the join of where the building sort of like trim lines go. Left click press, line it up with that right side of the line, and it will just land nicely and cover that really well. Like I said, the arrows are going to give you the advice for all of these. You know, just follow along with the tips, and you won't really go wrong. Some of them are a little bit more difficult, yeah, I admit, but a lot of these you won't have seen before. Many of these are just randomly ones that I've tried and have worked well in games, so, but yeah. Anyway, hopefully you enjoyed that video. If you want to see more videos like this, if you want to see more in-depth specific ones for Brimstone on certain maps, whether it's lineups, whether it's a guide to playing him or other agents, let me know in the comments. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and I will catch you in the next one.